Chapter 4, The Wayward Dream. Dreams? More dreams?
Nora? Nora! Is that you?
It's so dark. Someone was calling me. I know that voice. Corvin? I tried to speak, but my voice sounded sluggish and weird, like my mouth didn't want to work properly. Where even am I? Is this a dream? It was dark and I could hear footsteps. Who's walking around?
Nora!
Whoa. It got really dark. There was a light in front of me. It was blurry and bright, so much so that it hurt to look at. But within the light, something else was taking shape. Oh my goodness, you're so blindingly beautiful now. A familiar head of white blonde hair. Corvin? When I tried to say his name, it came out as a slurred mumble. Why won't my mouth work right?
Thank goodness.
As soon as he spoke again, his shape came together more clearly, and I could see him almost properly.
You can see me, right?
I nodded, or I tried to. Everything was all muffled and far away. Where are we? I was finally able to speak, though my voice was still weird. I sounded sleepy, or drunk. Maybe both.
In a dream.
I narrowed my eyes at him. Why are you in my dreams?
I guess I don't get enough of you at school.
I made a swipe at him with my hand, but... my hand was all fuzzy and weird. I stared down at it, flexing my fingers. So this is a dream. I guess that's why everything feels weird and hard to focus on. I looked around curiously. Why is my dream so creepy? Where the heck is this? Our surroundings were dark, but I could make out blurry trees and shadowy foliage. It looked vaguely like the woods out behind my house. If the woods behind my house were in a bad horror movie with cheesy effects.
Somewhere in your mind, I guess.
My mind is dumb. He just laughed slightly. The more I looked at him, the clearer his image was. He was still glowing, though, like some kind of weird scarf-clad angel. Is that really my mental image of him? How embarrassing. I looked around, kind of getting used to how everything felt. At the very least, it seemed like my body was working right again. What's that dark place over there? It's the elephant graveyard. Everything around us was shadowy, like some sort of half-formed world without color or detail. But there was one area that was so dark it was like looking into a void. I shivered. Something about it felt off. Is that a voice? A finger of cold air gusted over my cheek, and I leaned toward the patch of darkness, listening carefully until I heard it again. It is a voice. Couldn't make out what it was saying, though, but the more I stared into that dark place, the more I felt myself being drawn into it. A hand suddenly covered my eyes, blocking my view. Corvin, of course. I didn't realize how cold I was until I felt his warm skin against my face. It was the only thing in this weird dream place that felt real.
You shouldn't look at it.
Why not? I peeled his hand back and tipped my head up to look at him. His face was troubled.
I don't know what that is. A place even I can't look into. I don't think you should go there.
It's my mind. I'm kind of gonna go with Dream Corvin on this one. I scoffed at him. You're even weird in my dreams. Then again, I guess that's my fault. It was weirder that I was dreaming about him in the first place. Wait, why am I taking a dream so seriously anyway? Maybe I was just glad I wasn't sleepwalking again. Corvin looked around anxiously.
Nora, I think you need to wake up now.
Huh? He backed away, fading slightly. I reached out to him as the cold swept back in. What? Corvin? He vanished completely from sight, leaving me in the dark.
Wake up!
So did I actually go into the woods? Uh-oh. I jolted awake at that. Not in my bed. I probably should have expected that. As I willed my heart rate to return to normal, I tried to get my bearings. Outside? Check. Pretty much in the woods? Check. The only thing that was missing was Spencer jumping out of the bushes and yelling, "Aha!" I probably should have been more concerned, but I was mostly just confused. That hadn't been at all like my usual sleepwalking dream. Usually they didn't feature other people, much less Corvin being all glowy and weird. Does that mean we need to have Corvin go into the woods with us? My face heated slightly. Gah, what the heck was I dreaming about? I glanced up at the sky, relieved that it was still dark, which meant I had time to sneak back inside. Something in a tree nearby caught my eye, a white shape nestled in the branches above. Bird? Yeah, that came out of his book earlier. A white crow? I'd never seen one before. It stood out starkly in the dark. Why is a crow wandering around at night? I was pretty sure they weren't nocturnal. We stared at each other for a long time. He was just sitting there with his head cocked to the side, peering down at me. Well, I didn't know it was a he, really. I had no idea how to tell male and female crows apart. The bird squawked suddenly and took off in a whirl of feathers and beating wings. I traced his path into the forest until he disappeared beneath the low-hanging branches of the trees. And that's when I noticed something else was there. It was a small, pale shape huddled in the foliage at the foot of the trees. Most of it was obscured, but it looked sort of hunched and cat-like. A pair of eyes gleamed at me from behind the leaves. Oh, crap. Definitely some kind of animal, and it looked bigger than a rabbit or squirrel for sure. I backed up slowly, keeping an eye on it. It shifted, the underbrush crackling at the subtle movement. Time to go! I gave up on backing away slowly and just turned to flee back up the hill. Fortunately, the house wasn't that far away. I scrambled up the back slope to the gate. The telltale crackle of pursuit behind spurred me to move faster. Whatever was scrabbling through the brush after me sounded bigger than I'd initially thought. Not massive like a bear, but big enough to worry about, like a bobcat or coyote. Go, go, go! I reached the top and slammed the gate shut behind me as I ran across the backyard toward the house, trying to ignore the abuse on my poor bare feet. You guys are going to bed with your shoes on. I was nearly to the door when I heard the gate swing open behind me. My heart nearly leapt from my throat as my feet finally hit the back porch. How did it open the gate? I fumbled with the knob, yanking the door open in a panic and practically leaping through. I kicked it shut behind me and latched it, pressing my back to it as I tried to catch my breath. Seconds later, something smashed into it, rattling the window with the force of the impact. Holy crap! Heart pounding and legs shaky, I peered outside. I didn't know what I expected to see. Maybe a raptor trying to figure out how to work the knob. Funnily enough, that would have been my first thought too. But there was nothing. At least not at eye level. Something was snuffling around at the base of the door, but at my angle I couldn't see it. I cupped my hands around my face, pressing against the glass as I strained to look down at it. I finally caught some movement, but not enough to tell what it was. I saw just the flank as whatever it was slinked away. It was pale, lanky, and nowhere near as big as it had sounded. It also looked hairless, weirdly. I couldn't help but think about what the others had said about magic currents and more creatures drifting into town, or other creatures becoming more active. What if it wasn't even a normal animal? I was wondering. I hadn't really thought about that while it was chasing me, but that was scary. I had to start working out a way to keep myself in my room at night. I'd tried locking my door, but that definitely hadn't helped. Where am I even so determined to go every night? There was a soft noise behind me, and I whirled around, heart thundering again. It was Spencer, who has the sharpest ears in this house. Just standing there, staring. What are you doing? Nothing. Were you outside? I heard the door. Yeah. Just getting fresh air. What's wrong? I just heard something outside. That's all. Heard what? I don't know. Some kind of animal. It came up on the back porch and ran off. Spencer came toward me, peering outside with a frown on his face. Why is the gate open? I don't know. Guess someone left it open earlier. He gave me a long look. I shifted uncomfortably but held his gaze. He definitely knew something was going on. I didn't know if I was waking him up when I got up at night or if he was just watching for me. Either way, it was a problem. We should go back to bed before Mom catches us. Yeah, I was surprised he was just going to leave it at that, but was still glad. I wonder if we would pick the other option if he would have started an argument and Mom would have come out like, "What is going on out here?" This was not the place for the truth to come out, but that discussion was definitely coming, probably sooner rather than later. He clearly knew something was going on. He probably had since the start. Man, I suck at keeping secrets. I mean, if you weren't night walking all the time. Weirdly, that thought made me wonder what my secret looked like. The one I'd seen before had looked like a cat. To me, anyway. Did they all look the same? Was each one different? I yawned and cast another look at the door. Whatever had chased me was gone. But still, that was worrying. There were wild animals in the area. Not to mention all the other cryptics that were apparently going to be in town due to Samhain and all that madness. It had probably only been a matter of time before I encountered something dangerous. I chewed my lip as I went back upstairs. I fell into bed gratefully, feet still stinging from the cold. I should probably have a look at them, but I was tired. Letting out a long, slow breath, I rolled over and grabbed my pillow. I wonder if I should tell someone about this sleepwalking thing. Yes, you definitely should. Or maybe I should just double down and focus on this for a while until I found a solution. No, you definitely shouldn't. I didn't want to trouble Allie with it when she had her internship and other things to worry about, but it was getting to the point that I couldn't handle it alone. That was my last thought when I finally drifted off to sleep. I swear, Nora, don't Deanna Troy this, please. After a quiet breakfast and a small list of morning chores lovingly handed out by my mom, I went straight outside to see if I could find any evidence at all that might give me a hint as to what chased me the night before. Part of me was quietly reminding myself what tended to happen when I tried to take a closer look at something mysterious. Most of me was lulled into a sense of safety by the daylight. Bad things tended to happen at night, not mid-morning. On the back porch, there was zero evidence anything out of the ordinary had happened. No scratches, no damage to the door. There also weren't any visible tracks in the yard, though I had to admit my tracking skills weren't exactly at expert level. But I still went down the back path to the trees to see if I could find anything down there. Nothing. Not that I had really expected to find anything, but for my sanity, I really needed to look. It was probably silly. If it wasn't a normal animal, it might not even leave tracks. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe it was just a big, cranky raccoon. Yeah. I didn't think it was, though. I hadn't gotten a great look at whatever it was, but it had seemed too lanky. I let myself back through the gate and shut it carefully. The sound of the automatic latch clicking made me wonder again just how the thing last night had gotten through it. Some wild animals were pretty clever, but... I clearly wasn't going to figure it out by looking around. Sherlock would have been disappointed in my complete lack of detective skills, that was certain. Probably. I headed back inside and started upstairs. The more pressing issue at hand was what to do about the sleepwalking. It wouldn't matter what was lurking around out there if I was staying inside properly at night, so that was going to be the first order of business. I stopped short when I reached my door and realized Spencer was standing just inside my bedroom with his back to me.
What are you doing in my room?
I'm gonna save. I'm tempted to scare him, because I wonder if that would give us clues about the before time, you know? I mean, not only should you not be in my room without telling me, but I wonder. I'm gonna risk it. What the heck is he doing in there? He didn't seem to notice me, so I quietly made my way into my room. Definitely time to teach him a lesson. Just a little playful jab in the sides. Just enough to scare him and get a little revenge. That's all I was planning. That's not what I was planning. I crept up to him, reaching out to attack his unprotected sides when he suddenly turned. I let out a little scream of surprise and jerked away, gripping the side of my desk with one hand on my chest. Ah! Oh my god! Don't do that to me! Why, what? He just turned around, right? He turned. You got scared because he turned around? Okay, Nora. My heart was not going to survive all these surprises lately. It really wasn't. I wasn't going to be done in by sleepwalking myself off a cliff, or being eaten by a bear, or a supernatural creature. Someone was just going to give me a heart attack, and that would be it. What are you doing in here? It's my room. Hey, it's my room. What are you doing in here? None of your business. No! It's my room! Yes, it's my business what you're doing snooping around in it. I wasn't snooping. Whatever. Just get out! He shot me a glare and stalked out, slamming the door behind him. Well, that went horribly. Oh well. I'll stick with it. Ah! I let out a strangled groan as I flopped face first onto my bed. I need a vacation. I snagged my phone from my nightstand and rolled over, pulling up my contacts page. You there? Sort of. What's up? Working? Yeah. Everything okay? About to kill Spencer. Need someone to talk me off the ledge. Wait until after work. I'm too busy to hide a body. I laughed, but the smile faded fast. She really was working way too hard. I hope they're paying you a lot. She didn't respond to that one. Probably too busy or distracted. I let the phone fall back on the bed and covered my eyes with my arm. So, going back over this morning's progress, I still had no answer for the sleepwalking, and I didn't have a clue what chased me up the path last night. Good job, me. No wonder Allie wanted to put wards on my house. I wonder if they'll keep me in, too. Though I suspected they wouldn't. I should have brought one of my books home so I could at least do something productive instead of just moping around the house worrying. And dealing with Spencer. What was he really doing in here anyway? Not that he was going to find anything by snooping in my room. I reached over and opened the top drawer of my nightstand, pulling out my journal. Where's my pen? I thought I'd hooked it into the little loop on the cover. I rolled over and peeked into the drawer. Apparently the pen had fallen off. Huh. Maybe he hasn't forgotten the swirly notes that you guys made up as kids, I pulled it out of the drawer and opened the journal to a new page where I quickly wrote about what happened last night. Writing about it made it seem less frightening than it had been at the time. and it just emphasized how much I didn't know about any of it. Ugh, enough of this. Enough worrying. I rolled off the bed and kicked off my scrubby tennis shoes. Pulling on a pair of boots, I decided I'd just go for a walk, clear my head a little. I just needed some perspective. That was all. This sleepwalking issue wasn't even that big a deal. It was just sleepwalking. There were worse things going on at the moment. You almost sleepwalked into a creature's mouth. Like people being possessed. And as far as last night went, I didn't have a shred of evidence that what chased me was anything that could do any harm. Okay, sure, technically, but... I went quickly downstairs. Before I thought about what chased me or why I was sleepwalking, I just needed to come up with a way to keep myself inside. Then I could start looking into why. I stepped out the front door and took a deep breath of the cool air. Oh! What I wasn't expecting when I went out was to find Corvin standing at the end of my driveway looking at my house. He immediately waved when he saw me. My phone chimed and I pulled it out. I had a message from Corvin. Oh my god, his profile picture's a white crow with a scarf. Stop, I can't. That is too precious. Oh, that's my favorite thing ever. Great.
Hi, I came to visit.
Yes, I can see that. I stepped off the porch and met him about halfway down the drive. What are you doing here?
Well, I thought I'd come say hi. I mean... Hi?
Yes, hello. He twirled his scarf awkwardly as he smiled down at me. I shoved my hands in my pockets. So, what are you really doing here? How did you even find out where I live?
Well, you may think this is weird, but I had a dream about you last night. I was worried.
What? Well, what a coinky-dink. I had a dream about you too.
You did? Really?
That was just a normal dream, right? Yeah. I mean, you were being all weird, as usual.
Am I usually weird?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, I'm getting used to it, so I guess it doesn't seem that weird anymore, actually.
Is that so?
Yeah, I guess.
So what happened in this dream of yours?
Well, you showed up, and then we talked about how the inside of my head is weird. Then I woke up. It was pretty boring, really.
And what happened after that?
What's that supposed to mean? That was a weird question. I mean, after that, I got chased by something outside. But I couldn't exactly tell him that. Or could I? It's not like the sleepwalking was a secret, really. Do you know much about sleepwalking? He looked surprised by that.
Well, not really. Why?
Not that I expected him to know anything about it, really. I don't know why I even said that. I shrugged. Hey, wanna go for a walk? I mean, while you're here.
Really? You and me?
Well, we're the only ones standing here, so yeah.
I'd love to.
Grand. We walked in silence for several minutes. Surprising, considering who I was with. It didn't last long, though.
You know, you didn't text me back.
You mean just now? He nodded, watching me expectantly. I would pull out my phone and be like, hi. Because you're right here? Why would I saw the look on his face and stopped. Fine. He's so heartbroken, like, I just want to reply. I pulled my phone out and quickly sent him a text. This is dumb. Corvin looked at his phone as soon as it chimed and checked the message, laughing when he saw it.
I finally have my first text from you.
Glad you're excited about it.
I just wish it was something less...
Hey, I was just being honest.
I know. Honesty is one of your many charming qualities.
I highly doubt I have many charming anything.
Not true. You're honest, funny. You quote Shakespeare. You're smart and pretty. And curious, and...
Okay, that's enough, thank you.
Why are you always so loath to accept compliments?
It's not that I don't like getting compliments. Everyone does, just... Why do you compliment others so much anyway? I mean, it's non-stop. He looked surprised when I asked that. Scratching the side of his head, he gave me a sheepish smile.
That still bothers you, huh?
We reached the bridge, the one where I'd met that Spriggan. I hadn't been to it at all since that day. Well, unless you counted driving over it. I hesitated briefly before I stepped onto it and leaned against the railing. Corvin was with me, so it would probably be fine. They relocated the Spriggan anyway. He joined me at the railing, and together we watched the water flowing beneath us.
You're not going to answer.
I don't know about it bothering me. I just notice you do it a lot. I mean, you know, all the time. There's nothing wrong with compliments, but I don't know.
You think I don't mean it right? That I'm insincere?
I guess. I've never met someone who was able to treat everyone exactly the same. Especially not the way you treat them.
I don't really see it as complimenting people for no reason. That isn't it at all. I just sometimes want to remind people who they are.
What does that even mean? Corvin took his glasses off and rubbed his eyes. He looked at me and smiled faintly. There was something a little sad about it this time. Aw, hello. Look at you guys and your beautiful curly hair. Man, such volume. I'm jealous.
Nora, everyone carries so many things with them. Insecurities, frustrations, loneliness, things they try to ignore, things they can't let go of even if they try. All sorts of secrets that eventually turn into the convenient lies they show on the outside. I'm fine, and I'm confident, I'm strong, and I'm exactly who everyone thinks I should be. These are the things they tell themselves and others. Even when they aren't fine, they're drowning in self-doubt and weakness, and are crushed under the weight of what others want them to be. They can't see it, but I can. I see those secrets wind themselves around each person, always whispering in their ears.
I watched him twist his fingers together as he stared down at them, and somehow I was surprised. He seemed strangely mature as he spoke, and not at all like his usual self. I realized for the first time how burdened Corvin was, not just with his own secrets, but everyone else's as well. He looked up again, his usual smile on his face.
Secrets turn truth to lies, and people start to forget all the good things about themselves. I just want to remind people about those things, if I can.
I looked away from him, suddenly unable to meet his eyes. I was pretty wrong about you.
Why's that?
When we first met, I thought you were just, I don't know, someone that flattered people to gain friends. You're not like that at all. I felt his fingers on my chin, gently turning my face to look at him. I stared up at him, my heart suddenly racing. His stupid pretty hair was falling in his eyes as he smiled down at me. Curse your beautiful hair.
That's why I say your honesty is a charming quality. Even if you don't say it, those kinds of thoughts are always written all over your face. Like, I don't like you, or I was wrong.
His smile widened into a teasing smirk as he lowered his head slightly.
Your compliments make me nervous.
My face instantly went hot, and I slapped his hand away, glaring up at him. He just laughed as he always did.
You're not in the habit of lying, even to yourself.
That's not true. I've been lying to my family ever since I joined this club. Lying to my brother.
Well, secrets always camouflage themselves with lies. It's their only defense, you know.
Then I guess you can't really be honest if you have secrets.
No. I guess you can't.
Doesn't that make everyone a liar?
Yeah.
I couldn't help but wonder if he was including himself in that. We stood there for a while in comfortable silence.
So, I was wondering,
Yeah?
do I get to count this as our first date?
What do you mean by first date? Yeah, I thought yesterday's lunch was our first date. I thought lunch at that courtyard was our first date. Or was it studying in the club room? Though, to be fair, we didn't really study. Corvin's face lit up when I said that. I almost laughed at the pure glee written there.
So you're saying this is our third date?
Best not to trust me. I'm not great at math.
But you are saying you consider this a date, right?
I laughed as I looked out at the trees. When I looked back at him, he was waiting expectantly, leaning toward me with a puppy dog grin on his face. Barely. It barely counts.
Barely is good. I'm content with barely. Barely a date is still a date.
Why are you so obsessed with dates? Much less dates with me.
You're interesting.
There are tons of interesting girls at school.
But you caught my eye right from the start.
Only because I saw your grimoire.
That wasn't the only reason.
Then what was the other reason? He laughed, a little sadly, I thought, but he didn't answer this time. Interesting. Drat, every time I think I'm making progress with you, you clam up. We're like, no, don't talk about stuff. No, you can't talk about it.
I guess it's time for you to be getting back.
Well, I don't know. We haven't been gone that long. But I guess Mom probably will be looking for me soon. I didn't tell her I was going anywhere.
Then let's go. I'll walk you back.
I know the way.
I know you do, but I just want to walk with you. Is that okay?
Well, I suppose you aren't terrible company.
That's pretty high praise coming from you.
We walked quickly back up to my house while Corvin rambled on about anything and everything. Just not answering personal questions. He spent a lot of time talking about the cafe and his family and how he couldn't wait for me to meet them. When we reached my driveway, I stopped and looked up at him seriously. Hey, I wanted to say thank you.
For what?
Just keeping me company. Helping me get my mind off some things that are bothering me a little.
You know, if something is bothering you, you could also just talk to me about it. I mean, you can talk to other people too, like Allie or, you know, whoever.
I will. I just don't want to worry anyone with my problems. So I need to think of how to approach it, you know?
I understand. But for the record, I don't think anyone would object to you asking for help.
I'll remember that.
Now, before I go...
He leaned down, turned his face toward me, and tapped his cheek, raising his eyebrows expectantly. Well, that's a cheek. He doesn't really think I'll kiss him, does he? I openly scoffed. In your dreams.
Maybe in yours too, if you're already dreaming about me.
Yeah, right.
Well, I guess we'll have to see about that.
What the heck does that even mean? Even if, by some weird chance, I kissed him in a dream, there is no way I'd tell him that. I know you, I kissed you once upon a dream. But I'll never tell you. He waved and headed back down the driveway, then down the direction we'd come. He must have walked all the way here from wherever he lived. Or he transformed from that crow. I watched him go, then turned and went inside. Surprisingly, talking to him had done more to clear my head than I'd thought. He definitely had a way of making everything feel a bit less dire. I guess I owe him one.